Yo, it's your boy Glenn Lawrence. I am here with the NRW crew. I got Kuya P with me, and we are going to be doing what we do every week. We are going to be checking out these new releases, hitting you with all the new stuff that's coming into the theaters, coming to your streaming devices, all that good stuff. We're going to give it to you. We're going to give it to you during this Christmas season. We're going to try to keep it a little bit Christmas themed. We're going to have a little bit of fun with it. But first of all, we got to check in with our people before we get to all that. Kuya P, what is going on with you, bro? How's life, man?
Life is good, man. As you know, when we finished up with last week's episode, we talked about how the both of us were going to get on this road to Exotica. And we did that, man. We handled Exotica DC this past weekend. And I want to know, because it was your first time, how was it of us popping that cherry, man? You know, we took it from you.
Exotica was good times, man. It was fun. I wouldn't say wholesome fun. It wasn't family fun, but it was definitely some adult fun. There's a lot of great people out there. The energy was really good. The black sexuality was in the building, so that was very enjoyable. And there was just, you know, a lot of hotties, a lot of hot people, including the interviewers, myself and yourself. You know what I mean? There's a lot of hotness in the building, so it was good times. It was my first time ever being there. I was always very curious to see what it was like, and it was very cool to see what was going on. There was definitely some eye-opening, eye-popping experiences. So not only did my cherry get popped, my eyes were popping too.
I'm sure. What would you say is the biggest lesson you learned? Because I have mine, and I'm curious if it matches up. What do you think for you? And take it as a rather deep question, because mine will probably, and I might have already shared mine for you, and I can lead if you'd like. But what was your biggest lesson you learned with yourself and that experience? I can start if you want me to lead in.
There could definitely be a titty overload. There could definitely be a booty overload. There could definitely be titty overload.
Like too much.
You could definitely have
it's too much for you.
You could definitely have like, all right, slow down. No, you know, it wasn't bad. It's very much like a Vegas or like a. I've never been to Amsterdam, but I heard it's very much kind of the same thing. It's just a sensory overload. You know what I mean? And in a good way, though. It's like good to see everybody just kind of living their life, you know what I mean? Letting their freak flag fly. It was good to see so many couples out there. And what I learned is, you know, there's definitely more there's definitely a lot of sexuality out in the world, probably more than you think just in your everyday life. You know, it's funny because now I go back to work and I'm just like, freaky are these people here? Because you know, you go in and everybody's like all kind of covered up, suited up or whatever, and then you just get back from an environment where everyone's just like titties out, you know, balls out, you know what I mean? And so it's just like, oh, what's going on here? I guess that's the lesson that I learned is like everybody's got a freak flag, and sometimes you just got to let them fly.
What
was your lesson?
So you know, we've been invited, you know, to these things for several years. NRW, myself, you know, some of the connections I've got, and I've resisted because I wasn't sure how to connect, you know, what we do here with that. Even though when we're getting invited, we're like at the stages of when they started doing a lot of cosplay porn, crossover porn, Avengers porn, stuff like that. Like back when China, you know, WWE wrestler got into the adult world, and they started making a lot of this, you know, material because they were trying to get us as nerd type fans enjoying porn, which how can you guess? I'm sure we were already there. It was just maybe another means of the market, you know, as everything is, because, you know, everybody watches this stuff, man. So it's like, anyway, but when I went there last year, you know, finally, you know, okay, let's take the invitation. Let's go check it out. You know, we've gone to a lot of shows, nerd shows and stuff, but like here it was like if you know how like when you go to a nerd show, we like, oh, other nerds, we can talk about stuff, safe space, you know, cool stuff, we can nerd out about stuff that in other places you can't really nerd about, you know, or at least talk like in depth with things more so than you can in any other place because you're amongst your people, our fellow nerd people, right? So with this, it was that, but in a more eye-opening way, as you said, because it's a safe space for these cats where they can really be their true authentic selves. I think when you're at a nerd convention, you're getting people that are getting their true nerd self, but here it's taken to another level where they're basically everything about them is laid bare because they're bare in a lot of ways, right?
Yeah.
Which we've seen. But yeah, just the most authentic, real cats. Like, you're not getting any bullshit. And that's what I really enjoyed. And then the conversations that I've had, and I know, and you've had as well, after this weekend. These cats are real people. You know, they've got their regular gigs they're doing. They just happen to also be in the adult industry, you know, and are regular filmmakers like you and I, you know. It's
not exactly the same, but similar.
They're definitely the same, dude. Like, they just, one aspect of it is this. They're creating content, except their content is slightly different. You know, so there's, to me, that's what or at least personally how I feel, and I really enjoy that. I don't want people not being their authentic self. Like, if you're gonna be cool with me and we're friends, come real with me. Don't come fake. You know, I don't need that in my life. I don't think you and I, as we've talked, we're getting older, Glenn. You know,
yeah, right.
we don't need the bullshit. We want the realness. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's what I feel that I get in the friendships I've made and the people I talk to when I go to these things. I dig it. And at the end of the day, man, everybody does this. You know, we wouldn't be here if not for the sex industry and having sex. So it's just one other aspect of life that, you know, I dig people that are, as long as they're not hurting people, you know, be yourself and just come out here. That's all I care about. And so I had good times, man, and it was a lot of fun to do it with you, bro.
Yeah,
thanks.
thanks.
And to you know, share that experience with you. And I really looking forward to covering more Exoticas. And now, you know, we've done 2 DCs now in a row. Well, I've now done 2 DCs. This is your first. I want to take it to some of the other ones, man, because we've gotten those invites. You know, Cherry Hill, New Jersey's like their main big one, and so that's apparently the littest of the Exoticas.
Of course, Jersey.
But I want to take it to Chi-Town. I want to take it to Chicago, and I want to take it to MIA, the Miami. So we'll see down the road. You know, you and I are doing our thing out here. You know, especially if they fly us out there. I'm ready to come through. But it's something I definitely want to look into as we expand out what we're doing. We're building out our audience and just showing love to everybody, man. That's what it's all about.
Much love. So you say your lesson learned was that you learned about yourself, that you like the realness.
Yes, that gotcha. Even more so that I need to stop. You know, I prefer going to shows like this and other shows that I'm tired of, like, playing fake. Well, not I don't play fake, but talking to people that when I can catch a vibe that they're not giving me their truth, that I'm not going to accept that I'm like, dude, if you're just trying to, like, you know, give me some bullshit, you can tell that shit to somebody else, you know, because of by the nature of you know, the stuff you and I do, you know, people just want to get cool with us because of the stuff you and I are doing. Right. I'm not about you using me. I want, you know, we can talk. If you want, I'm down to help everybody. You know, I'm down to give opportunity to everybody, but come with your true self. If that is something you like, hey, Patrick, I want to know because you know these kind of things, you know, then I'd rather get that than knowing that you're kind of using me in a different way. You know what I'm saying? And just get something out of me and then just flex, you know. And that just opened my eyes. Last year opened my eyes to just the realness and what I want out of relationships with people and events that I attend, you know?
Yeah. The thing that's kind of interesting about Exotica is, like, when you go to another con, there's, you know, comic book stuff that you know about and you can nerd out with people. And this one, it's like, you know, it's like different. It's a little bit odder to nerd out about, like, oh yeah, this is how we fuck. This is how you know what I mean? So it's like I feel like I had to ratchet the nerd level down, you know what I mean? Because we were talking to people. I don't know. That's one question.
That's where you missed when I was doing interviews.
I should have asked, though, and I wish that I feel like the thing that I left Exotica thinking was like, damn, there are other questions I should have asked. Like, do they feel some type of way that most of the people there have, like, spanked it to them? You know what I mean? Like, does that weird when you're interacting with people that you know for sure have, like, they might like set candles up for you or whatever, and then play your video just to get it. Like, is that odd for you? I think if I went to the next exotic, I'll probably be asking like that type of question. But since this was my first one, I was trying to keep it nice and cordial. You know what I mean?
Well, you should always keep it respectful. Always keep it respectful. And if you see that they lean towards that and they're open to that, then they trust me, they are down. I've met so many down people. Sure. It's just we're all human at the very forefront, you know. So be very cool, and then as they see you're cool, then they'll open up.
Yeah. So I think I didn't want to jump into those questions like immediately. And then it just skipped my mind to ask those questions. And as soon as I got home, I'm like, that's what I should have.
Exactly, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So but, we popped it now. Next time you're gonna be a pro.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to nerd out on sex, you know, like that's the thing that they nerd out on, you know what I mean? Which is interesting, you know, you want to pick their brain. So I think next time I go, I'll be picking some more brains. But speaking of picks, we got our picks. We're gonna change gears here. We're gonna change gears to
hold on. What have you been watching though since last time we chat? Anything different? If there isn't, then cool. But I'm just curious if you've watched anything and enjoyed anything new, because there was something that came out last week that, you know, our good pal Heather was dying to talk about, and now she was finally able to talk about it. I'm talking about Willow, y'all. Did you see that it debuted finally now? I know I've been holding off, even though I got the screeners way in advance. I finally caught the first 2 episodes, and because I still have the other ones still in my screener package, I'm going to try and get in advance so I can catch up to Heather. And I'll holler at you too, Glenn, if you want to check them out. Right. But anyway, what did you see the first 2 episodes that were released last week?
I have been watching some things. Willow is one of the things that I was watching. And I will say, you know, I found myself enjoying it towards the end of the episode. As it started, I was like, oh, this is very CW-esque, you know, like it's like Willow meets the CW. But then once it starts going a little bit and you get past all the character introductions and everything, it's just like, okay, this is cool. This is getting back on track. But it was touch and go for that first episode for a minute. I was like,
they had to get the newbies because it's been a while.
Right.
I feel you on that. Yeah, but I think it's new. It's a new crowd. It's a new audience. It's been years.
Yeah, it's very nuanced, but it felt very CW-y at the beginning. But then it kind of got into its like footing or whatever. Like, okay, this is going to be a little bit serious. I think the special effects have been upped a little bit, you know, from the original, so that should bode well for the series. Warwick Davis is awesome in it, and a lot of the other actors. I think they brought the young lady back. I forget what her name is. I wish I had it off the top.
The one that was in Star Wars.
No, the one who's in the original Willow. Isn't that didn't they bring the mom back?
Yeah. I think so.
Yes, I believe it's her. I would have to check. Don't yell at me in the comments or anything. I'm not exactly certain. But I just know it was very CWS at the very beginning. I was kind of like, what is going, like, all right, don't do this to me, Willow. And then it like started rolling on itself, and then it was like, okay, cool. Now and then it became like kind of the nostalgia that I was looking for, and I remembered some of like the old jokes from the first Willow. I was like, oh yeah, that's right, because you know, like with the magic and everything. So it was good. I'm enjoying it. I'm also enjoying the peripheral.
Oh yes, that's been good so far.
Yeah, it's been pretty solid. It lost me, like the first episode was pretty fire. Second episode, it was like and it started kind of waning, but then it like picked up. So it like had a little dip and then it picked back up, and now I'm like back into it. I'm like, okay, this is getting good. It got a little confusing. That, dude. Yeah, it got a little confusing for a minute, but now I'm like, all right, I'm back in and I'm loving it. And you know, other than that, I've been watching some of the Christmas stuff. What is new is there anything new that came out that
the Christmas Story Christmas?
I haven't seen it because I wanted to watch the first Christmas Story, and I usually watch that closer to Christmas. You know what I mean? Or a snowy day. If there's a snowy day, for sure we'll watch it then. But I'm waiting for
there was the Santa Clauses.
I did watch the Santa the new Tim out the Santa Claus. Is that what you're talking about?
Santa Clauses? Yes.
Yeah, the Santa
Tim
Clauses.
Allen.
Yeah, yes. Tim Allen. I did watch that.
How was that?
that was kind of cool. It was kind of fun. It was like short, it's short. Although like their opening sequence, it's funny because Tim Allen has this history, with drugs and whatnot. And then like the opening to the Santa Claus, like the intro is very like trip. Have you seen it?
No.
So
I've fallen off on Tim Allen.
Yeah, just watch it. Watch the open or whatever. It's just funny because it's like, oh, this is like, did you write this on shrooms? Did somebody make that on shrooms? It's just like,
well, he used to sell snow. He might be doing the snow.
Yeah. But I mean, this is like, it was like trippy, not like,
okay.
Like, it wasn't hype. But anyways, that's it, man. What about you? What you been watching? What's going on?
Well, The Willow finally, so I could catch up with Heather, and happy you saw it too. And I agree to your points about CW, but it picked up. So I think we're now on a good Willow ride. So I'm curious when I finally check out the rest of them. Other than that, just the usual stuff, reality TV, Survivor. I'm a big Survivor person. Been catching back up on Survivor, wrestling head, enjoying wrestling. But really, I've been super busy with a ton of interviews. Oh, I had a series of interviews last week that actually reminds me I got to hit Disney back up. National Treasure, The Edge of History, brand new Disney Plus series coming very soon, if not this week, I think. I spoke with the cast. So those interviews are coming to the NRW. Saw that, and I don't know what the embargo is. I'll just say I enjoyed it. I won't say any more.
Even that might be too much.
Even that might be too much, but hey, I enjoyed it. Hey. So anyway, stay tuned for the interviews. And then I'm sure we'll talk later. I don't know if you're a National Treasure fan. I worked on Book of Secrets as an actor. So I was always curious how they were going to continue on when they announced this. And
you was worrying about your role. You want to know how your role, it's like, am I going to get a bigger role for the
hey, well, they did a good job. But anyway, I got to stop there because I don't want to get in trouble. But saw that, and I really wanted to see Violent Night, but you and I had Exotica over the weekend. So there's some films that I want to check out that came out like Violent Night. I'm really excited to see that and just didn't get that opportunity. But hopefully this week I'll catch up. And I know you've got some catching up to do. There's so much stuff we want to watch, man. So I'm sure we're gonna both find that time now that we don't got hopefully any other stuff.
Unfortunately, we had Exotica, so we couldn't see Violent Night, but there was definitely some other beating going on.
Speaking of beating,
after the show.
Let's go to that first pick, Glenn.
Look at you trying to change the subject. It's hilarious. Anyway, just watch all our Exotica footage. Exotica 2022 from the DC, the Dulles Expo Center. Great time. Go check out all that footage. You're gonna see some crazy things. You're gonna see me do some crazy things or whatever. Don't judge me. I was letting my freak flag fly. I was letting
Glenn was trying to find out what it smelled like. I was trying to find out.
I was trying to find out a lot there, and I think I did, and I think y'all will like that coverage. All right, now after my segue has been done away with, I got to figure out a different one. But screw it, we're just gonna jump right into it. We're gonna get bloody, y'all, with this first trailer react. It's Christmas, Bloody Christmas. You know we got to do it. Let's just go check it out. Let's check it out. Let's go.
The U.S. Defense Department has spent over $1 trillion on the most cutting-edge robot technology. Introducing RoboSanta Plus for the upcoming holiday season.
Oh, wow.
This fine Christmas Eve.
I was potentially going to go meet up with a dude. I've blown him off twice already, so.
Come on, get a drink with your old pal, Robbie.
What's up with you two?
Just grabbing a drink.
I talk her out of some Tinder trash.
You didn't talk me out of anything. Sick Christmas! Humbug.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
New animatronic state-of-the-art Santa Claus featured at our own TW Bunkers is now the subject of an international recall.
Oh, I like that idea. The animatronics go crazy.
Santa?
Uh-oh.
What? This guy killed the kid next door!
Oh, wow. This is going to be wild.
Oh, shit!
You hear that?
For what?
I love they use a real automated type tune. Ho ho ho. What is all like?
It's him.
Oh, Santa Claus?
Yeah, it's fucking Santa Claus.
Oh shit. Terminator Santa.
Have you heard from the boys down at the scene yet? They're still down there counting bodies.
Ho ho ho! There we go.
Oh my goodness.
Glenn Lawrence, what a pick! What?
I did pick it, but I just had to see because we already got Violent Night, and it does seem like Hollywood always puts out two, right? Like,
yeah,
when we had Armageddon, we got Deep Impact. When we had Dante's Peak, we got Volcano, and now when we have Violent Night, we get Christmas, Bloody Christmas. And this is the B side of the Violent Night thing. It's interesting, that this one is going to be AI based, which is kind of like, if the robot Santa ran amok, what would happen? Animatronics.
You know how like you go to Spear Halloween and you see all those animatronics.
Exactly. Chucky, it could have been Chuck E. Cheese or whatever, but this time it's Santa. I wonder how ruined Santa is going to be for a lot of kids, because there's a lot of this stuff coming on, right? There's a lot of like
after this year.
Yeah, there's like a lot of the Grinch killed everyone, Santa killed everyone, Violent Night. Like, how many kids are going to be traumatized by this and be like, I don't want Santa to come, I'm not leaving out cookies, you know what I mean? Like how many kids are going to do that? It's just really interesting to see. Once again, this is one of those ones, if it happens to be on while somebody is chilling, I'm gonna watch it. I'm not like going to search it out because I'm just not into the horror thing anymore. But younger me would have loved this. Younger me would have been all about some Christmas, Bloody Christmas, and I would have wanted to go check it out. And I probably will. I'll probably eventually see it. What about you, man? Are you going to check
I am totally checking this out, Glenn. Thank you for bringing it to my attention. I don't think it will be as good as Violent Night.
Wait, you didn't see Violent Night, right?
But come on, they got David Harbour, they got John Leguizamo. There's a lot more money, I think, behind Violent Night. It just looks amazing, and it's real Santa, and giving us Die Hard type vibe. So that's why I don't think it'll be as good as Violent Night. But this, though, I like the idea. I like the creative animatronic thing with it. I'm gonna check it out. I want alternative takes on Santa. So again, I'm not saying that because I haven't seen Violent Night. Right. I just think because of production value and all those plus sides of Violent Night, that's why I would say it personally. And again, in my personal opinion, why I would say it's gonna be over this. But I'm all in on this, so I want to check it out. It's got a cool concept. Again, like I want that alternative take. I don't mind the adult take on the concept. And I will say to you as well that I think you're right. We're messing up a lot of Christmas this year for the people that are watching, the mean one, all these different takes on Christmas. But I'm here for it. Why not? Yeah.
I mean, this is where we are in society. I mean, I can't say that I'm upset about it's like another one of those things. You're seeing Santa go craze, and I'm sure there had to be some movie in the past that had this, but it seems like this is like coordinated now. It's like a lot of people have the same idea. Like
Killer Santas. Yeah. I remember there's a couple of wrestlers that played Killer Santas, if you will. Yeah. We even had Jack Frost.
That's right. That was Frosty. If Frosty was a killer, we had the Grinch. If he's a killer, is there going to be a Rudolph movie where Rudolph is the killer?
I wouldn't be surprised. You know what? Now, hey, if you all are checking this out, let us know in the comments if there are. There's got to be some out there with that.
There's got to be Rudolphs out there,
or Prancer, because they fuck with Prancer a lot. I'm sure there's a Prancer movie where Prancer just has had enough. Glenn and Prancer,
and then he's chasing after Rudolph all night, trying to get him.
Yeah, man.
All right. Well, speaking of rehabilitating images, changing the image, changing the common thought of perception of entity or person, we got one of the largest entities in Hollywood at a time, and now his image is being rehabilitated. It's the Darren Aronofsky's The Whale, starring Brendan Fraser. Let's check it out. Protozoa. Oh, Sadie Sink, huh?
Do you ever get the feeling people are incapable of not caring? People are amazing.
Aw, that was very sweet.
Wow. Not a lot, but just enough to get in your feels, man.
Yeah. It's amazing that the movie is called The Whale, and then that trailer was so small. It just gave us a little piece of it. Interesting. What are your thoughts? Give me your thoughts. Give me first. Give me your thoughts.
I think, like all of us that cover pop culture, are fans of Brendan Fraser. And if you're on the social networks, we saw how when this was touring the festival circuit, just the love, and apparently, at one of the screenings, like an 18-minute standing ovation. He was trying to leave out, but he couldn't leave out. And, they just wanted to thank him and applaud him for his performance. And that man's been through a lot, in his life. He was one of the biggest mega movie stars in Hollywood, and, had a series of accidents that, attributed to his health and where he's at now. But he's been putting out great material since then. And just, and when you hear him talk, and when you hear certain things from him in his camp, because we all, that if you're covering, you're fans of things, we know who certain people are assholes in the industry and who are the good guys. And he apparently, and from what I've seen, he's one of those good guys. And in this role, as you can see from there, just a little bit, I think I know I'm gonna cry like nobody's business. I'm an empath, man. So it looks like it's gonna be very touching. I can't wait to see it. When we were first hearing about this, like I said, when those coverage of the festival and that ovation came out, Heather and I did a trailer react to what we thought was the trailer for this film, but apparently it was something fake that somebody put together. And so I'm excited now to finally see this official trailer. And
wait, did you cry on the fake trailer?
No, but they did something, they pieced some stuff together, but it didn't have this. It did not have this effect. And you could tell that when we finally started watching that back then. But anyway, this one is the real one, and this one I know is gonna get real emotions out of me. But love to Brendan Fraser, man. Just what from everything he's gone through, still working, still acting, still making amazing choices with his acting work. It's all about choice too, and what you want to bring to the screen and use your talents and skills. I know you and I both know that as actors, filmmakers. He wants to do good with his work, and it looks like this one's gonna be really touching. Excited to see it, and gonna bring a box of tissues because I know I'm gonna be ready to cry. What about you, Glenn?
It's interesting. I don't know what any of the story is. I don't know what is going on there. It looks like it's going to be heartfelt. Darren Aronofsky always makes very touching.
Yeah, I forgot about him. Yeah, Darren's
a
beast.
Very, very thoughtful film. So I think this will be nothing less than that. It's interesting because Brendan Fraser, he left the Mummy franchise and passed it off to The Rock, and now The Rock is the huge superstar. It's like Brendan Fraser was a huge superstar, and he just handed that off to The Rock. Basically, he just passed him the torch real quick.
Well, I don't think he handed it off. They were trying to spin
off.
I
know. I'm just saying, it's just like if you think about when The Rock took off, it was kind of after that. He got into the but up to that point, Brendan Fraser was the man and then The Rock gets in the Mummy franchise, and then there's a diagram. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I would say in regards to like action heroes, they're both, Rock was always going to become an action hero guy. Whereas, Brendan was okay to do some action work, but really he was more of an actor's actor. He wanted to make more films that spoke and had messages and wasn't just all about doing those big tentpole, big budget action type films. Because not too long after he did not National Treasure, but not Scorpion King. See, you got me thinking of The Rock. The Mummy stuff. He did something with Magneto, Ian McKellen, that he, I think, almost won the Oscar on. And he was just making choices that really showed his range and his acting ability. And that's what, from what I understand and knowing his history as an actor, that's what he wanted to do. So I just think, different trajectories. Rock was always from the jump off. You couldn't really see him in anything else but action films at the time. So he was obviously going to become a stellar action movie actor. But yeah, I think, just to clarify a little bit.
I'm just saying there wasn't room enough for both of those superstars.
Yeah. And I don't think Brendan wanted to stay that route.
So he handed it off. That's all I'm saying. He handed it off like a torch. He was like, here you go, Rock. Take this, burn down the Mummy. And
although there was Dragon Emperor that came in between, the second Mummy, and then there was Scorpion King, but Scorpion King bombed. Let's be real. Scorpion King initially bombed. And so that's where Rock just left it. So you're trying to say quote unquote handoff. There was that second one that he did it with him. They then did Scorpion King. It bombed. Rock took off. And then there was Dragon Emperor with the Mummy that Brendan was in. That was like the third or fourth film in the franchise.
Yeah.
That, but then at that point, again, Brendan was trying to do other roles and not just action roles.
Well, this role looks like it's going to be fun for him. It'll be very interesting to see what comes out of it. Especially like we said with Darren Aronofsky directing. Now, speaking of legends, we got our last film up. This is a legend that I've always been very curious about. So now we're going to get a movie to find out a little bit more about it. Let's check it out. I am DB Cooper.
And he goes, I got something else to run by you.
I says, I'm DB Cooper. I've been wanted for a long time.
When he got on a plane in Portland, Oregon last night, he was just another passenger who gave his name as D.A. Cooper. But today, after hijacking a Northwest Airlines jet, description on one wire service, master criminal.
In the early 70s, a hijacker calling himself D.B. Cooper jumped from an airliner in flight, carrying $200,000 in ransom cash, and disappeared in the woods of the Pacific Northwest. His fate remained unknown, his true identity a mystery, that is, perhaps until now.
They can't prove a thing on me. But now, they prove it all.
Well, Rodney had this lone wolf kind of mystery about him, like he had a secret.
I decided to come on now and tell the truth about everything, so the people that have a right to know who I am.
This is real, and we might find this money.
You got $193,000 some buried on the beach. So we're going treasure hunting and just dig it up.
Some guy hijacked a plane in Portland last night and then jumped from it.
This guy got away with it. And the more I looked into it, the more I thought, well, he's either the most well-versed D.B. Cooper fanatic that I've ever met or even heard of, or he's D.B. Cooper.
Oh my God, you're still alive.
It's the guy. Oh man, I really want to see this.
Can I get you anything?
I'll take a bourbon on the rocks, and if you could keep those coming until the plane lands or I jump out of it, that'd be great.
Oh man,
why are you such a fan of DB Cooper?
I just think it's a crazy, amazing story, right? Like, dude, like hijacks a plane, doesn't hurt anybody, hijacks the plane and just jumps out of it with all the money, and then like no one can ever find him. They don't ever find him. It's just like he just jumps out of the plane with $200,000 and then off into the night, and it's just like one of these urban myths or whatever. I mean, we've seen it though in a lot of pop culture. Like, remember that show Preacher? They did it where he jumped out, and then Loki actually did like kind of a spoof of it Loki season 1 did a little spoof of it where Loki was caught like kind of like DB Cooper and he jumped out of the plane or whatever, if you remember the opening of that. So it's just always been a story that has popped up in different like little pop culture things that I've always thought was really cool. And the fact that it's real, I think is what makes it really kind of interesting. You know what I mean? Sometimes real life is stranger than fiction, and this is one of those stranger situations where it's like dude jumps out of a plane with like a lot of money and then they can't find him or whatever. I don't know. It looks kind of interesting. I've always been interested about the story and I kind of want to find out a little bit more. What about you? Are you interested? Has it piqued your interest? Are you into this?
So yeah, I remember first hearing about the DB Cooper story on Unsolved Mysteries way back when, and was completely intrigued by it. Because my father, my extended family are from the Washington State area, and then when my dad had retired out of the military and we went from Mississippi up to Washington State, where my dad was planning to settle after his military days, we went. Actually, we took the long trip. We went to see family in California, went up to Portland, and then went over the areas where the infamous DB Cooper would have came out his airplane. And fell into that area along with his bags of money and all that. So it always intrigued me because I always read into one of those mysteries. It was always a mystery like yourself that I was always intrigued by. So yeah, I'm well versed in those myths. I read the books, but as I've gotten older and learned a lot more and gotten to certain functions, I've now have different theories myself. And I will also add that I'm excited to check this out, although I'm seeing that this isn't the definitive story. And with my own research into the DB Cooper mystique, certain knowledge that I now have as an adult because of certain industries I've been in, I don't think the world will ever know, Glenn, who the real DB Cooper is or was. And I'll leave it like that.
So you don't think this guy?
No, I even did a quick Google search real quick. This is just another guy claiming to be DB Cooper, as there has been several. But I'm really interested in checking this out because they're mixing like a regular narrative film with this documentary. Piece.
Well, it's interesting because he's like saying, I am DB Cooper, but the problem is I couldn't retrieve the money. I feel like if you're smart enough to figure out how to get onto a plane, hijack the plane, jump off the plane with the parachute, you would have figured out a foolproof way to go back and retrieve the money. I don't know if you risk life and limb and then just on a fluke bury it on a beach that you just can't remember where it was. Like that seems like a lot of effort to go through for like a basic mistake. You know what I mean? But then again, maybe he was just so like surprised that it worked that he just ended up forgetting where it was. But that's why I think this is so interesting. It opens Friday. I think I'm gonna check it out. This is one of those I'm like, all right, I definitely want to check it out. This is
I'm with you on that.
Late night views, one of those Saturday afternoon views. I'm gonna definitely look at it. It looks very fun. I am DB Cooper comes out 2022, coming out this week, man. It's exciting.
I have time. I'd love to join you there, brother, because I've and share DB Cooper stories. And actually, yes, my own thoughts, since I don't exactly want to share that online, because like I said, I've learned a few things over time because I have been such a fan, and I'm excited to know that you're a fan and curious of the mystique.
Yeah, you were a fan of this story too. Like you thought.
Yeah, and then when I got into certain industries, wink, wink, which you're aware of.
Yeah, listen, you ain't got.
I learned a lot more. And
you got to say no more, bro. I just think it's very, 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 very interesting because I thought I was the only one who was like, yeah, that's a cool ass story.
No, I'm excited that you're a fan, bro. Real talk.
Yeah,
real talk.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'm a fan. I wasn't like researching. But it's just like,
but just the story.
I would definitely pull, like, anytime it was in front of me, like if I'm watching something or Googling something and it comes up, I pull threads like, oh, let me, you know what I mean? Yeah. But I don't have pictures on my walls.
Oh, no, but like, it's so significant because that's what made me fall in love with Unsolved Mysteries. That was like the first episode that I think I ever saw Unsolved Mysteries, which got me into it. And then... the DB Cooper story.
That might be the same thing for me. Like that was the first thing I saw in like I you know what, now that I think about it, possibly because I remember, because I don't like scary stuff, so most of Unsolved Mysteries is kind of scary. That is one story that's not scary, but it's like interesting, so that probably is what got me hooked on the rest of Unsolved Mysteries, because the rest of it is some creepy stuff that I'm like, I'm a little bit nervous.
The theme song is the worst part of Unsolved Mysteries, I have to say that. I can deal with some of the horror because I like horror, but the theme song, that opening track, used to scare the fuck out of me, dog. Like, I cannot deal with that theme music.
So true, bro. So true.
But I'm with you on DB Cooper, man. Yeah.
Anyway, this looks interesting. So what do you think? What do you think of the picks, man? What do you think?
Christmas, Bloody Christmas, definitely gonna check that out. The Whale, definitely gonna check that out. IMDb Cooper, it hits that sweet spot of nostalgia for me, as like I said, with history wise. So all in, 2 thumbs up, brother.
See it. I feel like, darn it, we are wishing her the best, even though she's not able to join us. But dang, I wish she was here to see the 2 thumbs up, because I did a good one. I did a good.
You did a solid pick week this week, bro.
Well, I am super excited for these. You heard it here. Christmas, Bloody Christmas, The Whale, and IMDb Cooper coming to theaters near you. And they'll be streaming soon too. So go ahead and check those out. And if you want more content like this, check my boy Kuya P out. Kuya P, where can they find you?
The Legend Kuya P on Twitter, TikTok, IG, Hive, and of course here at the NRW Not Release Wednesday, where Glenn, Heather, Brian Saff, Webster Style, the whole squad, where nerds rule the world. And how about you, Glenn Lawrence? And don't you have a show coming out? Or you're coming out to a show this week? Holla! How can the people check you out?
Listen, peoples, if y'all are out in the Hanover area, check out the Church of Satire. It is biblically funny in there. It's not a church, but we are definitely slaying some jokes in there. We're saving people through laughter. It's going to be a good time. So December 9th and 10th, I'm going to be there. I'm featuring for Howard G, who's going to be the headliner there. It's going to be a good time. We're going to have a lot of laughs. There's some new jokes there. I'm going to come with that energy that y'all know and love from your boy Glenn Lawrence. It's going to be a good time. But if you're not able to get out to check that out, you can check me out always on levelupcomedy.com or Level Up Comedy across all your socials. Glenn Lawrence Comedy on Facebook and IG, and Glenn Levels Up on Twitter. And that's it. I guess I did that soft landing and I forgot that I'm closing it out. Man, it is super good to see you, Kuya P. Tell these people to go out here and watch these movies, man. And wait for that Exotica footage. That's coming out pretty soon. Y'all gonna like that too. So until next week, we out.
Deuces.